Kentucky just went completely computerized at the beginning of next school year. Okay.
I can't hear.
Oh, I can hear. I was just.
Both county schools in Kentucky just went completely computerized at the beginning of next school session. Freshmen will be issued a laptop. All courses will be on the laptop/smartboard. I know my nephew went to Charlestown. He was given a laptop, and it was kind of a fluke thing for them as a student. It was like, I just can't break it. What Bullitt County's looking at is saving $272,000 in their school corporation at Toner, saving $180,000 in paper. There will be no snow days, which means no snow makeup days. And if a child is sick and at school, and can't attend school, he still has the virtual world to go from. There's safety issues and all, but basically it's $600 the school is paying freshman year for a 4-year rental. When they graduate, they get to keep it. The only out-of-pocket expense is $35 a year from the student's family for insurance on the device. Is that something that would be considered with Greater Clark? Now, I live in West Clark, and I'm going to pose the same exact thing to them because we're going to do the same thing. Oh, we're broke.
Well, I will start because I was in technology at Greater Clark for 3 years, and we are, Greater Clark is one-to-one grades 3 through 12. So each grade, each student has a Chromebook, which is a web-based device that can run Chrome apps and Google Docs, like word processors and things. I fought for 2 years to have snow days as no makeups because we were one-to-one, and I was told that the teachers weren't ready. And I guarantee if I'd gone to any teacher and said, hey, you don't have to make up snow days if you just learn how to post your curriculum online, they would have said, teach me how to post. And so it's not just having the device, but it's the culture of the device. At East Washington, we are going to go one-to-one next year, but teachers still, want to print because that's the way it's always been done. So it's kind of, you have to have that culture shift as well. The big thing right now is textbooks. Textbooks are fabricated, and they cost a lot of money. Textbooks were designed because teachers did not have access to primary sources, okay? But now that we have these devices, we don't need textbooks. Mathematicians don't read textbooks. Once you leave school, you won't read a textbook. When was the last time you read a textbook? I can't remember the last time I read a textbook. What do I read? I read online articles. I read journals. I read memoirs and and books that are nonfiction or fiction, just for fun, or and so it's definitely something that Greater Clark is trying to do. But there's so much other stuff, and I think that it is a shift, and people are scared. Not everybody has that. It's not technical, they call it digital native versus digital immigrants. It's all about digital literacy, and that's what we have to understand. And if we hold our teachers to high standards and expect great things from them, they will give us great things. It's just like knowing that a box with an arrow means share. It means it anywhere, on a website, on Twitter, on Facebook. If you see a box with an arrow, it means share. And and just because our kids, the last thing I'm going to say, and then I hand it over, because it's like light switch technology. When you were born, there was a light switch. Well, when the light switch was invented, and it first became on the wall in the hotels, if you flipped that light switch, there was a good chance you would burn the entire hotel to the ground. And so lots of people were scared to use a light switch, and they tried to light the lights, which actually did burn the hotel to the ground. And so think about our students that are kindergartners right now, what their light switch technology is. An iPad is the light switch technology. They're not scared of it. My mom would tell me, she actually works for Greater Clark as well, she'd say, Katie, when I was your age, Control, Delete, turn, erase the whole computer. Well, nowadays we have safeguards in place where you can't do anything that can't be undone. And so, yes, it is possible, and yes, we're trying to get there, and we will.
I'll go. What county was that? Bullitt County?
Bullitt County, Kentucky.
Hell, that's where we need to move to. They got it going on over
Well,
there.
I'm just throwing out ideas and other things that are working in areas because they base theirs off of 3 Nevada school systems, 6 Dakota, South Dakota school systems, and there was like 70 some odd school systems they do this research from for the Chromebooks and the whole curriculum.
But speaking of technology, I always go back to the day when I was in school 100 years ago, and a calculator. When that calculator came out, and boy, it was like, teacher said, you can't have that calculator. And now calculators are, you got to have a calculator to take standardized testing, certain parts of it. So I think technology has got that way. It's just going to be unbelievable where we end up We do have Chromebook devices in Greater Clark. I'd like to see us move toward the e-learning on snow makeup days. That, to me, that's a no-brainer, and I think that's something where everybody's headed to, and we're going to jump on that wagon. I'm looking forward, who knows where technology's going to take us, but it's going to be a fun ride.
I'm more excited about the ink and toner savings.
I'm more worried about the fact that we're preparing students for a world that does not exist.
Yes.
And so, like, you know, we want to go to these snow days. The people are already there. A lot of counties, Madison County already does it. There are lots of counties that already do it. And, you know, I don't want our students to be ill-prepared.
The odd thing about this is someone who, my business is biomedical devices, so technology is my bag. And I would very much check the yes box on e-learning for snow days. But there are some hurdles that I think that we are failing to think about. One-on-one instruction and papers sometimes are crucial to learning. Not everybody learns the same. And I don't want to set up our children to fail because we're trying to push them to be so tech savvy. The other thing is that, you know, social graces, they've fallen by the wayside. And I don't want to see that happen because our children are completely in a computer. The other thing for that is, we have Chromebooks already from 3 up, but what about, you know, K, 1, and 2? We have to address their needs as well. I know that, you know, snow days, that does seem like a no-brainer to me, but I think that, you know, ink and toner savings aside, we have to really, really weigh the pros and cons of how we approach that. Definitely, technology is the way that we need to go, and there are things that we need to do, but jumping right in and saying that, you know, technology is the way, the only way, the way that we need to do it, I think that the perfect example is when I'm at the grocery store and the system is down and the young lady behind the counter can't add my $18 order. And she begins to cry. And then I feel bad for her. And the first thing I ask her is, sweetheart, where did you go to school? Where do you go to school? It's not your fault. It's our fault if you have to have a calculator to figure out that my $18 order and my $2 coupon and add the tax. I mean, nowhere even close. So we have to, everything in moderation and a little common sense on that one for me.
And speaking of K through 2, in Greater Clark, we've already passed, approved the funding. Next year, each teacher that teaches K through 2 will have a classroom set of devices for their students. So it's going to be K through 12 next year.
Other questions? Yes.